right, now to a big story in the district tonight. In the last 2 weeks, commanders at the scene of two major fires in D.C. have asked for extra crews to help out. But those extra crews did not arrive as fast as they should have, all because of issues with 911 computers.
In one case, it took 10 minutes for the 911 center to dispatch support staff. And tonight, the Firefighters Union is pointing fingers at the Office of Unified Communications. Fox 5's Paul Wagner joins us live with what we know so far. Paul.
Hi, Tony and Sean. I'm standing in front of what remains of a fire at Peabody Street. This was back on June 24th. There were a number of families that were displaced. This fire went to 4 alarms, and 1 man was killed at this fireground scene. Now, in the last couple of hours today, we've spent a tremendous amount of time going through radio transmissions and listening to what was said over those radio transmissions between the commanders and the dispatch center over at the Office of Unified Communications. We've talked to the Office of Unified Communications, we've talked to the DC Fire Department today, and we talked to the Firefighters Union. And the Office of Unified Communications is admitting mistakes were made, and the union wants them fixed. Firefighters have been rescuing people and battling the blaze inside this apartment building on Peabody Street Northwest for well over 2 hours when the commander on scene asked for a 3rd alarm.
Command 40 communication.
Command 4.
Go ahead and sound the 3rd alarm. Have them stage at Georgia and Peabody.
But 3 minutes later, when the commander doesn't hear the call go out over the radio, this is the response he gets from the dispatcher.
Okay, sir, with getting it down.
6 minutes after the commander asked for the help, it's finally sent. A delay the Firefighters Union says it's unacceptable. However, 7 days later, it happens again. During a major fire on U Street, the commander asks for more help as the fire begins to spread.
Command 6 communication.
Come in, Command 6.
I have a list of my second alarm companies.
Okay, we're having computer problems. We're not able to get our second alarm unit up. It's not coming up on the board.
The Firefighters Union says as the fire spread, 10 minutes went by before the extra units were sent to the scene.
It's been an issue that this union's brought to both the fire department and OUC on several occasions. We seem to still, be having significant problems with it. Obviously, this incident the other night highlights it. It's one of the only times we've actually had somebody admit that they've had an issue or a technical issue that caused a delay in providing service.
The admission President Dabney Hudson is referring to is this.
We're having computer problems.
Hudson says when a commander calls for a 2nd or a 3rd alarm, it should be sounded immediately.
It's a push of a button in a CAD, or what should be the push of a button to put the assignment together and then subsequently dispatch it. I think 30 to 45 seconds from the time it was asked for to the time that it was dispatched would be within industry standards.
No one was hurt in the fire on U Street, but there was significant property damage. In the fire on Peabody Street, 1 man was killed, but there is no indication at this time the delay in sounding a 3rd alarm had anything to do with his death. And the cause of the fire here on Peabody Street is now undetermined at this point. Now, as far as the Office of Unified Communications is concerned, they did issue a statement to Fox 5. They said here on Peabody Street, the system froze for some reason. At this point, they don't know why. They haven't been able to replicate it. They're still working on an answer to that. As far as the fire on U Street, we're told that was operator error. Live in Northwest, Paul Wagner, Fox 5 Local News.
Well, you've heard